Karen reported my Armory shed to the HOA, then I brought my legal team and a Chinook. Have you ever had a neighbor who seemed to live for stirring up trouble? Meet Karen, the self-appointed queen of our quiet suburban cul-de-sac who decided my backyard Armory shed was her personal crusade. It was a sturdy, discreet structure where I stored my legally owned firearms and outdoor gear, built with every permit in place. But one sunny afternoon, Karen's shrill voice echoed through the neighborhood as she stormed my driveway, clutching a clipboard and a smug grin, declaring my shed an eyesore and a danger to the community. She'd reported me to the Homeowners Association, HOA, claiming it violated bylaws and even hinting it was some kind of militia hideout. Little did she know, I wasn't just a guy with a shed, I was a retired Army aviator with connections, a legal team, and access to a Boeing CH-47 Chinook helicopter. Karen's petty power trip was about to crash and burn. The trouble started innocently enough. I'd moved to this upscale neighborhood in Colorado Springs 2 years ago, craving peace after decades of military service. My shed, a 10 by 12-foot metal structure tucked behind my garage, was painted to match the house and surrounded by a privacy fence. It housed my hunting rifles, camping gear, and a few collectible firearms, all secured in a state-of-the-art safe. I filed every permit with the county and the shed met all zoning codes. Most neighbors didn't even notice it, but Karen, who lived 2 houses down, had a knack for sniffing out anything that didn't fit her vision of suburban perfection. Her first move was a passive-aggressive note taped to my mailbox. "Your shed is lowering property values. Please remove it ASAP." I ignored it, assuming she'd move on to harassing someone else's lawn ornaments. But Karen escalated. She rallied a few HOA board members, citing obscure bylaws about outbuildings and neighborhood aesthetics. Soon, I got a formal letter from the HOA demanding I dismantle the shed or face fines. The letter even mentioned community safety concerns, which stung. I'd served my country for 25 years, flown countless missions in Chinooks hauling troops and supplies, and now I was being painted as a threat over a shed? I wasn't about to let Karen's vendetta slide. First, I called my old Army buddy, Tom, now a sharp real estate attorney in Denver. Tom reviewed the HOA bylaws and my property records, confirming my shed was 100% compliant. "This is a shakedown," he said. "They're banking on you caving to avoid a fight. Let's hit back." We drafted a response to the HOA attaching copies of my permits, zoning approvals, and a detailed breakdown of how the shed met every rule. I thought that would end it, but Karen wasn't done. She doubled down, spreading rumors at the neighborhood book club that I was stockpiling weapons. That's when I met Sarah, the twist in this tale. Sarah, a quiet single mom who lived next door, overheard Karen's gossip and knocked on my door one evening. "I don't know if this helps," she said, "but Karen's been trying to get my garden greenhouse reported too. She's got a history of bullying people into compliance." Sarah showed me emails from Karen pressuring her to remove her greenhouse, claiming it attracted pests. It was a pattern Karen used the HOA as her personal weapon to enforce her cookie-cutter vision. Sarah's intel lit a fire under me. This wasn't just about my shed anymore, it was about stopping a neighborhood tyrant. Tom and I decided to take the fight to the HOA's next meeting. We prepared a presentation showing my shed's compliance, complete with photos, permits, and even a 3D model proving it was barely visible from the street. But I wanted to make a statement Karen wouldn't forget. That's when I called another old Army contact, Mike, who ran a private aviation company specializing in heavy-lift helicopters. "Mike," I said, "how fast can you get a Chinook to my place?" He laughed, thinking I was joking, but when I explained the situation, he was all in. "Give me 48 hours, he said. The plan was audacious, but legal. We'd used the Chinook to lift my shed temporarily, proving it wasn't a permanent structure and sidestepping the HOA's flimsy outbuilding rule. The HOA meeting was a circus. Karen sat front and center, smirking as she read her prepared speech about preserving community standards. When it was my turn, Tom laid out our case with surgical precision, dismantling every claim. The board looked uneasy, realizing they'd been duped by Karen's exaggerated complaints. Then I dropped the bombshell. To address concerns about the shed's permanence, I said, "I've arranged for it to be relocated tomorrow morning. You're all welcome to watch." Karen's smirk vanished. The room buzzed with confusion and curiosity. At dawn the next day, the neighborhood awoke to the unmistakable roar of a CH-47 Chinook helicopter hovering over my backyard. Its twin rotors thundered, kicking up dust and rattling windows. Neighbors poured out of their houses, phones in hand, filming as the massive helicopter lowered a sling to my shed. Mike's crew hooked it up with military precision, and within minutes, the shed was airborne, dangling 50 feet above the ground. I stood on my lawn, watching Karen's jaw drop as she clutched her coffee mug like a lifeline. The Chinook gently carried the shed to a nearby empty lot I'd rented for the day, setting it down without a scratch. The crowd cheered, and Sarah gave me a thumbs up from her porch. Karen's reign of terror unraveled from there. The HOA board, humiliated by the public spectacle, voted to dismiss her complaint. Tom filed a counterclaim against Karen for defamation, citing her militia rumors. Faced with legal pressure and neighborhood backlash, Karen backed down. She issued a public apology at the next HOA meeting, her voice trembling as she admitted she'd overstepped. Rumors swirled that she was selling her house, unable to face the neighbors she'd alienated. Sarah's greenhouse stayed, and she even planted a new rose bed in defiance. As for me, I had the Chinook bring my shed back the next day, and it's still standing proud. The neighborhood hasn't been the same since, in a good way. People wave when they pass my house now, and Sarah started a community garden project. Karen's defeat showed everyone that standing up to bullies pays off, especially when you've got the law, a loyal team, and a 50,000-pound helicopter on your side. What do you think, was Karen's comeuppance fair, or did I go too far with the Chinook? Share your thoughts below. I'm curious to hear where you stand on neighborhood disputes and standing up to HOA overreach.